Alright, this is the third and final remaster of the month. Actually, I think it's March by now. It released at the end of February, but I didn't get around to doing it until March, and this time we're doing East Coastway. And this time, so this is an interesting one. So a remaster, so they had like all the new features and whatnot, but they also released a new timetable, or a couple new timetables based off of a mod. So I have the original modded timetable installed right here, the one by Tyler, and it has, so as you can see, it has some interesting new, or not new trains, but some trains that weren't in the original, like the Class 700, the 387, the 395, 395. Although those are either depot moves or rail tours. However, they've been added into this new DLC timetable along with some new trains such as the Class 171 and the 377-3 with the ugly headlights. And we also some new stuff too, like the Flying Scotsman has its own rail tour, some other older train rail tour stuff thingies. The Class 375 is here now too. So these are diversion moves. We also have the 377-2 that also has the pantograph. That does a couple different services on here as well. We got another variant too, an older one with the Class 313. I'm sure I'll be using that one a lot more because I do really like the 313 a lot more than the 3-car 377. And these are the two original timetables that don't have all the fancy new stuff, so a lot of different stuff to pick from. Of course, we got a couple different scenarios here. They're all for the Class 170, and they seem pretty interesting. Like, there's one where a truck gets stuck under a bridge. There's this one you have to do rescue moves. And so, a couple different things. But I'm thinking since the timetable is sort of the highlight, we'll jump into that. So, I think first things first, we should run with the Class 170. Got two different variants. I'm not really sure what the difference is. So, do a service. Pretty short service, only 30 minutes. We'll do one that starts at Brighton, so we can see the busier station. They added some services. All the London to Brighton services. It's a shame they haven't gone to updating that route yet because I could really use it. Let's see. All right. Yeah, look at this. So now we have the Gatwick Express, Thameslink, West Coastway services. I think there were a handful in the original release, but they add some more. Probably, I'm kind of assuming. And just more services going to London in general. Let's find our safety systems. Where are they? They're over here. Now, overall, this remaster seems to be a lot more promising than the Colin Toakin remaster. I've said before in my video on that, but that one was really more of like a refresh than anything. It was missing a lot of features, a lot of bugs were still present. It was kind of a letdown. It shouldn't have been branded as a remaster. Like, yeah, it was free, which was nice, but just misleading to call it a full remaster. Let's get the heat going. Alright, so this is a 2-car variant. I'm assuming the other one is like a 3-car variant. Yeah, just really nice to see a station a bit busy. More busy. Depot's been expanded a little bit. So I've done a couple different updates. I think that's the same horn as usual. So we're going to Ashford. We got the onboard announcements. I think Ashford's on Southeastern High Speed. One issue I have noticed immediately, I'm using my rail driver and the mapping isn't the best. So it immediately jumps from notch 1, the brake position, to notch 2 in the throttle position. So I'm gonna have to use my controller in order to go into coasting. And I remember I used to play on East Coastway all the time. It was definitely one of my favorites back in the day, but it's been a while since I've played on it. Even without, I mean, the remaster definitely helped. I still think it held up pretty well even without it, but it definitely makes a huge difference. I forget if East Coastway was a TSW 1 or 2 route. I think it was TSW 1. I think it released around the same time as Peninsula Corridor. So, I mean, it definitely needed it, but I felt like the scenery was already done pretty well, but especially the lighting and whatnot. Any free updates are always welcome to have. See, they updated the passenger information boards and whatnot. How did I never get that map? They must have changed the map. Why does the station look kind of different? I thought that station in particular had older architecture. Oh wait, I think it was this one. I forget what it's called, but the one coming up. Alright, so it seems to be almost an express service. Couple stops here and there. I feel like what makes this route unique is the fact that it's a pretty rural third rail route. Like, I just feel like it's not the type of place you would expect to have third rail traction. Yeah, this is the station with the older architecture. I did get that map. I forgot they added the cats, too. Oh, I can hear the rails singing, too. Just barely. So, definitely some nice touches. Now, this is the 4th livery we got the Class 170 or 171 in. Those textures broken there. Can't really tell. I think my camera might be glitched, so probably not supposed to see that. Yeah, I think I'm glitched inside, like, the bathroom or something, but no, those are definitely not supposed to look like that, but you're not supposed to see them. So this is the fourth livery we got for the Class 170 or 171, the Turbo Stars, since we started with the Scott Rail, then we got the West Midlands and cross country, now we have the Southern. Well, Matt, I should probably raise my opinions on the whole month of remasters and where this route falls with that. Overall, I feel like this remaster is definitely on par with Great Western Express remaster, where, they really overhauled everything. Colton was definitely a bit of a letdown. They only really did the lighting. And, it still looked nice. It was still free, just misleading to call it a remaster. But this, they also got new sounds. New sounds by, by that I mean, station announcements, rail singing, stuff like that. And the timetable, it is unfortunate the timetable is a DLC. I wish it would have been nice if they added it. If they added it normally and the 171 and 377-3 were sort of just added on to it as a gameplay pack or whatever. So it's sort of like the Class 805 where, you're paying less for the train and more for the timetables. Although the problem with this one is it feels like there just won't be as much compatibility. They could add I'm not really sure where else the 171 and 377-3 could run. With the Class A05 and the West Midlands and cross country Class 171s, there are plenty of other routes those could be added on to, unlike these ones. I mean, there's still a couple, but overall it feels a little expensive for what you get. I mean, the other ones felt a little bit expensive too. Whoa, it got foggy all of a sudden. But in general, I think it's a little bit on the pricey side. But I guess if you don't want to pay it, you could just download the mod. However, obviously console players don't have that luxury. Overall, though, the detail on this is very nice. Yeah, it's starting to get really foggy and hazy. I do wish they, tweak the rail driver compatibility a little bit more, but the game in general has pretty bad rail driver compatibility. Yes, it does work out of the box, but it barely works. Things aren't mapped correctly. The levers tend to wiggle a lot. You really need to install some mods in order to make it work better. Lewis tends to sneak up on me a lot. I think it's pretty cool they add diversionary services too, so there's a little bit more traffic. Thinking when's a good time to get a screenshot. Maybe wait a little bit more. Very slow entry. Seems a little bit too slow, but maybe that's just me. I cannot say the word little today. Whittle, little. I can't speak at all today. I do really like how I think overall, like, the design, like the logos and pictures on Class 313 is very unique. Don't know if all of them have them, but if all of them are painted like that, but it looks cool. Overall, I'd much prefer a drive on the older timetable with the Class 313s instead of 377-3. I will drive the 77-3 eventually, but I was never a fan of the smaller headlights. I always thought they looked wicked ugly, and the bigger ones just look better. I think the Seaford branch got some kind of update. I think they added like a station or something. I forget exactly. Starting to get some fog, so can enjoy the updated volumetric fog. Yeah, now that I remember, Ashford is on Southeastern High Speed. It's the station, and the fog just suddenly disappeared. I don't know why it does that sometimes. It's a really annoying glitch. But I do remember Southeastern High Speed, when they extended it for TSW3, they added Ashford, and it was an extension to the high speed line. Never really realized how close the two routes were. Yeah, I have no idea why sometimes the fog just disappears, but it's been a core issue for a while. I guess I don't need the blinds anymore. I'm not sure if the interior is much different, like the layout. Like, that sticker is definitely new, but overall, like if the dashboard is any different. Trying to figure out, I can't really read what that sign says. Something about the radio code. This is where it starts to get really fast. We can get up to 80 and I think 90 at some point. It's too bad it's a pretty short route. Wonder if they'll ever add the West Coastway line. I think I've heard some people say that's a bit more boring than the East Coastway, but it'd still be kind of cool to have. Although if they're going to focus on the southern region, they should really focus on Brighton Main Line. That route, like, it has so much potential. It's super busy, and it's just, even, I mean, but even then, even though it's busy, it's still missing a lot of traffic. Clapham Junction, it's if I remember correctly, it's the busiest station in Europe in terms of the amount of trains passing through it. Now, I know a lot of those trains aren't in the game and can't really be represented, so maybe they'd have to add the southwestern main line route, since that's where most of our traffic is coming from. But overall, I think the route probably needs some optimization to handle it, but just having a really busy main line, tracks going all over the place, passing trains every 2 seconds, it's just, even in its current state, it's still just, because of how crazy it is, it's a fun route, but it could be so much better. I remember I used to make, I think I made quite a few videos on this route. Like, I did one where I drove the Class 66 for the rail tour. I think I did one where I was driving a 12 car Class 377. And obviously I did one when the Class 313 came out. So, you know, his channel's got quite a few videos dedicated to this route. I apologize about all the sniffing and whatnot. My allergies are starting to get to me all of a sudden. Try and keep that under control, but kind of hard to help. The dog's going crazy. I do feel bad for him right now. I would go out and give him attention, but I am kind of in the middle of this. I'll have to make up for it and give him extra attention once I'm done. little bit weird. Another thing with the rail driver, when I pull the horn down, it goes up. When I pull it up, it goes down. I do not know why it's like that. Oop, didn't realize it goes down to 80 here. It's been forever since I've played this route. I have a feeling I'll probably be making videos about me. Maybe I'll make one dedicated to that Javelin Rail Tour. I want to make a video with the Great Western Express remaster on the Class 802, the test run, and I was recording it. Good thing it wasn't a live stream. It was just a regular video. I was working on it. I was recording it, but every time I tried to switch to diesel power, the train wouldn't move. You know, I looked on the forums and other sites to figure out, like, you know, is this just me? Am I doing something wrong? But no, it's a pretty well-known glitch that just has not been addressed whatsoever. So, I mean, I would like to make that video, but until it gets fixed, that's probably not gonna happen. I also had another video too, completely unrelated, for a different game that I accidentally deleted the footage for. I do plan on re-recording it at some point, but a little annoying. At least I wasn't working on it. It wasn't something significant, so not a huge loss, but just a reminder, always double check your files before deleting them, because you might accidentally delete something important. There's another 170. I think that one's a 3-car. Nope, it's just two cars stuck together. Is it? No, it looks like a 4-car set. Hang on. I didn't mean to throw her into emergency, but that's a bit of an oddity right there. I could have sworn that was a 4-car set. I didn't know they, ma'am. It's 4 cars. Yes, it is a 4-car set. Huh, the more you know. But that, yeah, I kind of stopped short. Still on the platform, though, just not up to where I was supposed to stop. Not up to the marker, but I'm still on the platform, so that's what's important. Some of these buildings could have had their textures updated. Like, you can tell they look very flat. The windows have some depth, but for being right next to the tracks, I feel like they could be a tiny bit better. So, there are a couple things here and there that still look outdated. I guess if you look at it from the right angle, like, you really have to get your camera up close, but from here it looks realistic enough. You also tell they reuse some of them, so Not too big of a deal, but could be better. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky, I don't know. That's the thing, striking a balance between being nitpicky and, you know, are you too nitpicky? Are you too lenient? Like, trying to get a balance between that. Figure out, like, the right type of criticism to give. So obviously the main focus should be, you know, like detail with the trains and whatnot, the stations, immediate things you can see. But at the same time, you know, those buildings are right there and you can tell there's some flat 2D textures. Alright. Eastbourne. Last service on the 171 before we try out the 377-3. But overall, I really appreciate how they've been remastering all these routes. Like I said before, it makes sense from a financial standpoint because even though they are free, it's still gonna have players, you know, it makes it feel like a new route, so it's gonna have players go and buy it that they might have passed because it was outdated. But I much prefer that they, you know, keep going back and updating old routes instead of just pumping out new routes like all the time, and a lot of them end up being half-baked and whatnot. Although there are some I'm really excited for. Is a third, although a lot of them are third-party routes. I think the route, not sure how many Dovetail are working on. The only significant one I can think of that I'm really excited for at Dovetail is working on is New York to Stamford. I'm really excited for that. But I think something that would be better is there's so many third-party companies now that, you know, Dovetail kind of goes back and takes the time to go back and update their older routes while the third-party companies can bring us some new content. And there is a lot of stuff I'm really looking forward to. Like, they just, like, the Czech route, I forget exactly what it's called, but I'm really looking forward to that. The vibe just looks totally unique. It kind of looks like Niedertalbahn, but a little more bumpy and hilly. And the fact that, like, the safety systems, too, they were talking about, like, one of them isn't even on the route, but they're still implementing it because sometimes there can be, like, signal interferences, and they're adding all that. You probably have no idea what I'm talking about if you haven't read the article, but point being, I'm just really excited for it, and I don't even know all that much about Czech railroading, which I guess kind of adds to the excitement because, you know, new country that I'm kind of unfamiliar with, so it'll feel sort of brand new. A different type of excitement. Like, if it's one for a place like New York to Stamford, like, I'm a bit more familiar with it. I've ridden the Northeast Corridor a couple times, so I'm excited because, you know, it's familiar to me and whatnot, but then you have, like, the Czech route that's completely alien to me, and it's sort of exciting in that sense where it just feels fresh and new and unexpected. Not sure if I did a good enough job explaining that, but point being, I'm really damn excited. Guess it wouldn't hurt to get at least one screenshot. Oh look, now the fog is back. As soon as I go to phone mode, the fog went back. Maybe that's the solution if it ever disappears, to just go into photo mode. And I have slowed down 55. I don't think I'm getting platinum this time. I'm getting too distracted. Yapping away. Alright, here we are. Here's a class 700. I don't know if they're normally, looks like that's just, I don't know if they're normally stored here or not, or if that's a diversion move. I wonder if the... Oh boy. Alright, so... Hopefully this doesn't ruin the route for some of you guys, but there is a really annoying issue I guess they never fixed. The southern logo is offset. Now, hopefully, I don't think it's like this in real life, I'd assume not, but it's not perfectly aligned with the window, and once you see it, you'll never unsee it. So, yeah, it looks fine on this side, so clearly that's an issue. And somehow we got platinum. Don't know how that happened, but I'll take it. Alright. I always wondered why that loading screen, they never had wires or the pantograph was up for the Aero 3. Alright, now we'll hop into the... Sometimes I forget, so... Don't want to choose the 2020 timetables, so do this one. How long is the Javelin Rail Tour? 30 minutes. It could be a standalone video, bit of a shorter one. Or that one with the last 37. Is that on the modded timetable? No, it wasn't. I don't think so. So those light engine moves, some rail tours, bunch of different stuff. I do like how they always manage to incorporate the older locomotives. Not too much freight, but there is some. Class 700. Mileage accumulation run. I have no idea what those are. So yeah, diversionary services. Those are mostly some extras, but mostly depots. Diversion service. So a lot of chaos going on outside the line, I see. Anyways, yeah, 150 services. Oh, you also got the London commuter variant too. Alright, time for a dash 3. None of them seem to have, what you call it, conductor mode. Alright, we'll do this one, Seaford to Brighton. Go the other way around. Now, from what I heard, the reason why they never gave the new sounds from the London commuter variant to the London to the East Coastway variant, some kind of licensing issue. I have no idea how that would work. That's just what I heard. Yeah, I've never been a fan of these headlights. Maybe they'll grow on me now that's in the game, but I still think they're wicked ugly. But I'm gonna be driving it anyways, and kind of want to get those included in the video. This train included. I guess it's kind of cool to have a 3-car variant as well, but I'd much prefer to drive the 313. But it's part of the DLC, so I will be driving it. I can't tell, the front almost looks different, like it kind of looks like it could be less, like it almost looks flatter. I'm not sure if that's just me or not. Yeah, all the sounds sound the same for now. The rail driver seems to work fine on this one, at least. Oh, I didn't realize it's only 15 I hear. Yeah, rail driver works perfectly fine on this one, so that's nice. The Seaford branch is really cool. It's like really different from the rest of the line, mostly single track. Yeah, much easier to use the rail driver on this train. I think I just saw a missing route map. Did I not? Well, I'm gonna run off like a madman and see. I can still hear the vigilance alarm, even outside the cab, where I'm at stop. That really annoys me. Nope, that map has already been placed. I didn't even have to control Zero back to the cab. I was able to get back in time.
Welcome aboard the Southern Service to Brighton, calling at New Haven Harbour.
So there's one service that goes to that station.
Falmer, Malscombe, London Road, and Brighton. The next station is New Haven Harbour.
So the Seaford branch services are a tiny bit longer. The regular services to Eastbourne are 30 minutes. These ones are 40 minutes. And the horn actually syncs up properly with the rail driver on this one. Push it down, it goes down. Push it up, it goes up. What the... Okay, I guess the bell button selects DC system selector. Would have expected it to do the depot whistle. That's a bit of a weird choice. And there's not pantograph on this one, so it's third rail only. I don't think I slowed down in time.
We are now approaching New Haven Harbour.
Oh wow, I actually did slow down in time.
We are now approaching New Haven Harbour.
So which service goes to it? 12F90 at 7:43. Not too many. Wait a minute. Oh, I guess that one goes to it too. 5F95. Or maybe that one goes to the platform and the 2F90 goes from the platform. Interesting. Not much. Very bare bones platform.
Brighton, calling at New Haven Town, Southeast, Lewis, Falmer, Malscombe.
Stations are so close to each other.
The next station is New Haven Town.
They're so close to each other, you could probably turn it into one giant platform. There probably are platforms long enough that could fit both stations in them. Please don't run the signal. 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 Ooh, that was a close one. I wonder if hoping they add working railroad crossings. I don't see any cars stopping at them, so it'd be a shame if they left that out. Yeah, looks like they did. I guess not too many cars would be going through here, but still, they should have added them. The rails in the middle aren't perfectly centered. Acton Yard. Isn't that on Great Western Express? So, is this train going to Great Western Express? It very well might be. Huh, that's weird. I had to press it twice. I also heard they accidentally released an update for the rolling stock from Southeastern High Speed that added the updated suspension physics, but ended up like breaking a bunch of mods, so they had to like undo the changes. I forget exactly what happened, and I am going to miss my stop. Please stop, please stop, please stop. Am I going to miss my stop? I might miss my stop. I missed my stop. Well, there goes a chance at getting platinum. See, I'll still back up onto the platform anyways. It's those headlights. They made me miss the platform. Those ugly headlights. I blame it on the headlights. This wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for those headlights. Now I can at least pretend to load and unload the passengers. What? There's a ticket machine I have to get. There's only one more left. Alright, now I can... Does this one have cruise control? Yes, it does. But I'm gonna turn that off. I don't need it. It's kind of annoying to work the cruise control because you have to like turn it up all the way and whatnot. It's not really that practical on this one. Wow, it's getting foggy again. I feel like the acceleration on this one is slower than the regular 377, but that's probably just me. How busy is Lewis gonna be this time? The only one there. Was hoping I'd see at least maybe one or two diversion services, but nope.
You're now approaching Lewis.
don't know why I feel like 10 miles an hour is a little bit too slow. These windows are just completely opaque. That's weird. I guess from the distance it doesn't look that ugly. But when you get up close, it's like, ew, is that? It's less noticeable from afar. So it's all stopped to brighten.
Service to Brighton, calling at Falmouth, Rolleston, London Road, and Brighton.
Yeah, very slow getting in and out of this station. Yeah, I don't know why, the acceleration just feels a lot slower than usual. Maybe it's just been so long since I played this where I forgot how slow it was. Now, something I did just realize is on the side, it isn't showing the intermediate destinations right here, so there's a bit of a letdown. Why isn't the vigilance? Alright, there we go. I can't tell if it shows in the inside too. I'm trying to get a look. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be showing on the inside either, so that is disappointing. Oh, we got our first speed restriction of the day. I didn't see the sign for speed restrictions, so probably best to start slowing down now. Just a tiny bit. Not sure if that's intentional or not, having to press the vigilance twice in order for it to stop beeping. That was weird. It went, the AWS went off for a split second, but then it just like, nope, you're good. That was weird. You know, I just had a realization the other day. The Avanti West Coast should rename themselves to the London Midland Scottish Railway, because that's the only one of the big four that doesn't have a modern railroad named after it. I mean, we got the LNER, the Great Western Railway, and the Southern, which we're driving now, but no LMS. I mean, they can keep, like, the livery and everything, just rename it to London Midland Scottish Railway. That's all they have to do. Wow, busy. I don't think everyone's gonna have a chance to get on. We're leaving soon. Should I just, like, stay here until everyone gets on? Nah, we got places to be. You lost your chance. Yeah, look at that. Everyone's hopping on. I love to see it. Oh, wait. That was the wrong side. Oops. Didn't mean to open the other side. Yeah, sorry guys, missed your chance. Gonna have to catch next train. When is the next train? 8:05, not bad. Not bad at all, that's pretty good. There it is right now. In fact, that's the service going from that station I had my eyes on earlier. I wonder if that's the only service of the day serving that station. And the fog disappeared again, so let's see, let's go into photo mode, and now it's back. So if the fog ever disappears, just go into photo mode, it'll come back. I figured it out.
We are now approaching Malta.
Alright. I'm running 30 seconds late to a minute late. The speed restriction probably had to do with that. and everyone's getting off here. It always kind of bugs me how the passengers. I wish there was a bit more like logic to where they went. Like busier stations had busier passengers, like more getting on and off. It just seems like a random station will just have a billion passengers, and but they'll all just get immediately dumped off at the next station. I mean, I think that was the problem the rush hour update back in TSW2 was supposed to fix, but I don't think it really did. Or one of the problems it did help with was passengers just kind of standing around doing nothing when the train arrived. I mean, that problem still is there, but it used to be way worse, or just like you'd have a station full of passengers and maybe like one or two would board your train. But they could still definitely fix the passenger behavior.
We are now approaching London Road.
There we go. Alright, only a couple passengers are getting off here. We still have a lot going to Brighton, but I have a sneaking suspicion none of them are gonna get off at Brighton. What the heck? The logo is still, not centered. Is that intentional? Now I'm questioning if it is intentional. It's just weird. Why would it be intentional? It just doesn't make any sense. It's bothering me. What the hell?
Brighton only. We are now approaching Brighton.
I remember London Commuter, there was a Class 09 in this little yard. And it was there in real life, but it's not here now, so I wonder if maybe it's not there anymore. So it's not, Brighton isn't too busy, but definitely busier than would have been the original timetable, that's for sure. Oh, I forgot I had I guess I installed a Transpennine Express livery on the Class 387. I forgot I did that. It's like a bit of a jump scare. Why does it keep... Why is the camera glitching like that? We'll just admire it in person. We can root hop to... Right. I forgot I installed that. Don't know who made it, but it's there. Can you still see the G on the Gatwick Express logo? I don't think so. And that beeping is getting annoying. And there's a Class 700. Wait, did I not unlock the doors? That's weird. Why does that camera keep glitching into the roof? Whatever. Alright, got another platinum. So, that was the third remaster, and overall, yeah, I'd say this one's definitely on par with the Great Western Express remaster. Definitely better than the Colin Twacken quote-unquote remaster. Overall, it's pretty nice. It is a shame they locked the new trains behind a paywall. It's an expensive one, but whatever. Still a nice route, so... Or a nice whatever. It was fun. It was a good time. It was a good time. Could be better, but it could be worse. It was nice. So that's all. I really enjoyed visiting those remasters. I'm sure I'll be doing some videos on some of those special services and whatnot on the timetable. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.